Hi, it's Robin. Thanks again for joining me. This is a very just simple layout, but I adore it. And of course, there's a story behind it. I'm just using this background paper I had made a couple months ago to use on a piece, and it was just a random scrap of paper. It didn't come in a kit because that was before I made kits, but I had used a stencil and some mists, and I ended up not using it for the piece I intended it to, so I'm pulling it out now, and I'm using my 6x6 paper pads, and I am just going to cut out some circles here. It's a picture of my Starbucks coffee that I got at the airport on our way out to California, and this was our second day trying to get out there. It was, oh my gosh, a trip. Like, someone was seriously, if I didn't know better, saying don't go, but I'm so glad we kept trying to go because we had an amazing time. But I tell you, anything that could happen the day prior did happen. So first, let me just say I'm pulling out some of these papers from these different 6x6 paper pads. The one I pulled out from the switchboard collection I just got from Paper Issues. It says hello, hi, love, and because that's just how I felt this day about this cup of coffee, I end up pulling out like a piece with some cameras, a piece from the Maggie Holmes collection with these birds. My name's Robin, and I felt one kind of represented a robin, and it went with the color scheme. And when else are you going to use paper like this? So in the morning, birds singing, you have coffee, you're happy, and that's just kind of what I did here. And then I pulled out another from that switchboard collection, and it's the tan background, and it looks like the pink phone cord. And it just spirals around, but every once in a while that there's a heart and such. And then I had some other round pieces I pulled from ephemera packs and such. So this was just from my stash. This was not a kit, just pieces here and there. And I also pull out a wood veneer, a coffee wood veneer I had ordered from 2Ps, and some of these traveling wood veneer pieces that I bought because I knew I was going to be doing a lot of that this summer. Okay. So going out to California, very important for me to go because my cousin Jennifer was getting married. On my mother's side, it's just my mother and her sister who's 15 years younger, Michelle. It's just the two of them in their family. My grandparents had 2 girls. I'm the only redhead in my family of my siblings, and Jennifer Ray is their oldest, and she was the only redhead. So we called ourselves twin cousins, redheaded twin cousins. And it's just kind of funny because when I had my second child, I knew she was going to be a girl. And I said, you know what? I want to name her after Jennifer. And so Jennifer's middle name is Ray, and it's spelled W-R-A-Y. And so I chose, Eric loved the name too, so we chose to give Jennifer's middle name to Shelby. So Shelby's name is Shelby Ray, spelled the same way, W-R-A-Y. And it's really a beautiful spelling, all spelled out, Shelby Ray. Oh, just looks so pretty. Well, it was just hilarious when Shelby was born because she came out with red hair. So I had her named prior to her coming out. We had Rachel already. Rachel was a brunette. And at the time having Rachel, I didn't want a redhead. And I don't know, I just was teased so much growing up. Red hair was not cool back then. I was born in 1970. And so, 70s and 80s, red hair was just not the thing, especially red hair and freckles. So now redhead's all the rage, and everybody, wants red hair and dyes their hair and whatever. And redheads are coming fewer and further between. But so when Shelby was born, I didn't care about the red hair. Someone said, well, what if this one's redhead? And I'm like, you know what, that's fine. I'm over that. I don't even know what that was. Maybe it was just hormones during, being pregnant with Rachel. Well, that was a good thing because you've all seen pictures of Shelby, and she's very much a redhead. So it was very important for me to go out to this wedding, and I promised her I would go. Now, Jennifer's 8 years younger than I am, and she lives in California now, and I'm very proud of her. She's gone to college, and she has a great job, and her husband, Ben, he has a great job as well, and very, very nice family. His parents didn't speak hardly any English, but I still made friends with them. And every time she saw me, we would hug each other, his mother. So, it just worked out well. I really, really enjoyed my time with them. But getting out there, Eric and I were going to take a free military hop out to Travis Air Force Base. It's a perk of being in the military, being retired, but it's standby. So we drove. There was 2 weeks prior to our trip, all kinds of flights going out to the West Coast, especially to Travis, and that's where we were trying to get to. It was the closest place to San Francisco. It was maybe half an hour away, 40 minutes at the most. Well, all of a sudden, no flights. No flights are going out. No flights are going out, even to the West Coast, anywhere to where we could rent a car and drive. So we start checking other Air Force bases around us on the East Coast to see if anything's going out to the West Coast. Well, there was one going out to Travis out of New Jersey. So we drive to McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey. It was a couple-hour drive. We get up at like dark 30, so it's like 4 a.m. we're leaving because call time was at 7 or 8, and you have to be there early. So we are the last one because Eric's a retiree, and we're new to using this perk. There were lots of retirees there, and there were only like 65 seats on the plane, and it's a cargo plane. You sit on these jump seats along the side, but hey, it's free, right? And so Eric had signed us up like the day prior, so we're like, we're good, we're not just walking in trying to get on the plane. Well, apparently the retirees, when you sign up, it's good for 60 days from the time you signed up. So if you think, a retiree told me, if you think you want to go out anywhere, you just sign up to all these different bases around you every 60 days. That way, if a trip's coming up, we've been signed up, we'll be higher up on the pick list to get a seat. So Eric and I were the second to the last ones called. So we have seats. And I'm so excited. And Eric's like, don't get excited because if this is a C5, they're known for maintenance issues, And I'm like, okay, so we got our seats. They're getting us ready to go back to go through the gate, the scanners and all that. And Eric sees it's a KC-10. He's like, oh, we're golden. KC-10s are great. So they get us through. We go through security. They're just getting the bus pulled up to drive us out onto the flight line to get on this plane. And as the guy's telling us to get on the bus, another guy's coming in from the maintenance crew saying the flight has been slipped, meaning it's no longer leaving when it was said. They said it because it was going to go from Travis on to Honolulu. The team's mission was in Honolulu. They were going to be nice and stop in Travis to take some people to the West Coast onto Honolulu. Well, come to find out, they cut the Travis leg of the trip, which is what we needed. The flight was going to leave 24 hours later, just going to Honolulu. So now I'm almost crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. I was telling my aunt we got to see it on the plane, and Eric told me, don't text anybody anything until we're actually landing, because then you get them worried and they think we're coming and now we might not be able to. So I'm upset. So we end up buying commercial tickets. So now we're driving to Philly to try and catch this plane that's leaving later not trying to catch the plane. There was a plane leaving like at 6 something. So we were going to have to spend all day in Philly, but I don't care. I was getting to this wedding. So we get there, and the lady was very nice checking our baggage. She's like, well, I might be able to get you guys on an earlier flight. And my husband's like, that would be wonderful. So she does her magic, and she gets us sitting together on an earlier flight, leaving at 4. So we pedal around and we have some lunch. We have a couple beers and we're excited. And of course, I'm Instagramming and Facebooking the pictures of our beers, saying our couple's vacation is beginning and all this other stuff. And Eric's like, stop, you're going to jinx us. I'm like, stop it. It's a commercial flight. What can, come on. We bought the tickets. We're good. Okay, so they get us on the plane at 4 something. We go out to the flight line. The pilot comes on and says the pattern's full, or the course, our Concorde, which means our course up in the sky. We can't go there because of weather, bad weather. Tornadoes off to the west of Philly. It's bad weather. We sit on that flight line for 3 hours. We're flying Delta. He comes back on due to FAA regulations. They can't have us on the plane more than 3 hours, so they taxi us back. We have 15 minutes off the plane. So in the meantime, they're like, we want to get you guys to Detroit because that's where our layover was, our connecting flight. He's like, but we're not sure, when that's going to be. You can get off the plane now and try and make your own reservations. There's 25 other planes in the same deal as us. So during that 15 minutes, my husband's on the line with Delta trying to get us a flight. They get us a flight for the next morning out of Detroit. We get back on the plane. They're like, sir, you have to get back on the plane. 15 minutes. So we're thinking, okay, we're taking off. We sit for 2.5 more hours at the gate on the plane. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this woman behind us, she has 3 children and her youngest is 3. He was really very good, but his feet were just at the perfect length to kick my seat. But I don't say anything because there was nothing for this young man to do. He was being good. He wasn't crying or whining or anything like that. So long story short, we get to Detroit. We stay the night at the USO. It was a very rough day. We didn't get in until after midnight. I mean, when this plane took off for Detroit, everybody was clapping. That's how excited we were. The USO put us up, so we were able to lay down and sleep. And we got up the next morning, and it looked horrible outside. I'm like, oh my gosh, please just let us get out. Well, there was a Starbucks in the airport, and I got Eric and I 2 large coffees, and it tasted the best ever. Good story ending. We made it to San Francisco that day, but it was just hell getting out there. Sorry about my French, but it just was. So anyway, I had to document. So this next day I take the picture of the coffee, and Eric's looking at me. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not going to tick off the traveling gods by posting anything. I finally posted it once we got to California. But I wanted to document this cup of coffee because it was heaven to me. And this trip had been, I just can't believe how hard it was to try to get out to California. And, but yeah, getting the rental car took like 45 minutes in line, and San Francisco airport's a little crazy layout. And we finally were driving to my cousin's house. My aunt gave me the right street, but the wrong house address. So we're knocking on the wrong door. Thankfully, those people weren't home. I'm like, are you sure y'all are home? Because no one's answering the door. She goes, oh my gosh, I mixed up the address. She mixed up 2 numbers. So we had to drive down the street. They're out front because of this back and forth of, are they going to make it here? Or are they not? So we got big hugs from everybody because we finally made it, and we had the best time ever. Thank goodness. So this layout is just the beginning of the documentation for my California trip. But anyway, sorry I didn't talk about the layout much. I had to give you the background of the story, why I'm taking a picture of a cup of coffee. But yeah, the wood veneer, I painted it up and tried to make it look like the Starbucks coffee there. I even wrote my name on it. I thought it was kind of cute idea. I should have written it up there on the white when I ended up backing it up, but I had already drawn it. I did think I was going to back it on any paper, but I just cut out different size circles. I used different circle elements that I had from my wood veneer. Some of them I colored with my mists. And the round one up top, that colored yellow, it just said sunshine. I end up putting, it doesn't show here, but it shows in the pictures above the cup of coffee. I pulled out from my stash a sticker that says, what a wonderful world, because hello, coffee, yes, it's a wonderful world. I never used to be a coffee drinker. I always loved the smell. I hated the taste until my husband deployed for his last time. That's when we both started drinking coffee. And it was kind of funny. He came back home. He's like, you never guess what I'm drinking. And I'm like, coffee? He goes, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, because so am I. Just trying to get through our day and make it through. But anyway, the little snippet down below that says rise and shine, morning glory. And I put a female potty people there. And I just think it's a very simple page, but it was really, really cute. And this tiny, tiny, tiny circle punch I got from Michael's in the dollar section, right where you check out, and it's 3/8 of an inch. I just showed it in the haul, and I love it so much. And just use some enamel dots here. And that yellow bit down there by the coffee cup, it's a piece, it's from an ephemera pack. I bought it Michael's. It's made by American Crafts, and it says, you are my sunshine. And here I'm just doing a little bit of journaling down below. I just wrote, we had a horrible luck traveling to San Francisco. I needed this coffee so bad. And then I wrote Detroit International. So I remembered what airport it would be in. And then underneath the picture, I put June 11th, 2004, 0700, because that's what time it was. So, yeah. Copy this page. It was so easy and so fun to make, and this would be a wonderful way to use up some scraps or your 6x6 paper pads. Those seem to be my new favorite thing. So let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for stopping in. I really, really appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.